Well, we will find out, Harper. We will find out if we're good.
What is going on? Yeah, I see Lynn's like, y'all good now?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
see.
only what, 5 days later? We're good to go. What's going on, Rocky? What is going on, my man, Rich?
Not too bad. Hey, Rocky, what you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, sorry about that, man. That was a total
Yeah,
yeah.
nightmare.
Nightmare. We'll put it down as a nightmare. I don't usually have problems with that, but yeah, for some reason it was totally jacked up. But I don't see any frames dropping. Everything looks good, and man, it's good to see you, Jake. How you doing?
Hell yeah, man. So I just shared us out on Periscope, and I shared us out on Gitmo.life. And salute to all my people. It's good to be back. So yeah, I haven't got much sun, so obviously I still look pale as hell. Even though I go to the Keys a lot, I hide from the sun. It's so crazy. Once you get skin cancer, man, I've explained that I've got surgery over here. You never want to go in the sun again, bro. It's scary.
Man, I tell you what, yeah, that's the funniest thing is since you moved down there, I've never seen you more pale than you are. Not that you're as pale as sometimes the camera shows you, but just, yeah, it's just you're all bundled up, you're covered up, you're doing the right, that you're playing it safe, and I don't blame you. Hey, and once you get you had that melanoma on your face, you don't want that again for sure.
Nope. So Edner says the cartoons from before my dad, and I'm old. I love that cartoon.
Yeah,
they don't make them like that no more. Actually, you're not allowed because of PC crap.
Oh yeah, that would never have flown. Which is exactly why we have it on there today. Exactly.
There's no sun in hell. Well, hopefully I won't ever find that out. But
I think that's also a religious reference if the sun is spelled correctly. So yes, no, that's right. I got my Gitmo shirt today.
Good catch. Right. Not the Son of Christ, that's for sure.
That's right.
I got my Gitmo shirt today. Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah. Harper, what's that got on it? What's on the front logo? That I've seen I saw some pictures being kicked around. Jake, I tell you what, I want to get one of those license plates you made. That was pretty that was pretty slick. I like that. That was sharp.
Yeah, Gitmo.life or /life on the license plate. So I think that's an old logo that Glenn had used. But then he refurbished it. Some people say it's the lotus flower, and some people say there's some evil, something with the lotus flower. I remember I showed you that virtual thing that I thought was real, and you're like, dude, that's not real. And yeah, I was like, wow, that's incredible, And then I'm like, oh, that was the Space Needle New Year's show, right?
Yeah.
They used a lot of the lotus flower, and somebody sent me messages like, there's all kind of paganistic symbols in that. I'm like, I know, but it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that if they actually had that, it would have been really cool. And the drone thing they could do, but the rest of it was a little bit out there. But yeah, that was.
It won't be long though. I don't think it'll be long. Ghost of the Realm. Yes. Hey, there's Horsey. That's Horsey. Roman Walter. He used to go on Glenn's show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's been fighting political corruption through the courts. He's over there in Jersey. Okay. So pray for him. Which you're originally from, right?
Yep. The armpit.
We don't say what town.
No.
Of course. And that's it. Let's go. What do we got? Let's go.
So Ednor Rose says vitamin D keeps away the Rona. Yeah, that's right. And don't forget, you got to do your zinc. You got to do the melatonin. You got to do the vitamin D. You got to do the Q-cortisone. And what's the other one? Anyway, and just stay away from it. So that
what else keeps Corona away?
What's that?
Biden winning an election. Apparently, it's all over, and the numbers are just falling. It's a miracle.
Well,
we couldn't see that coming.
Well, the funny thing is, this will segue into the first thing that we got here. Let's take a little video. This is from Jen Psaki, or Saki, whatever her name is, the Circle Back to You chick.
Oh, Chucky, the female version?
Yeah. So here she is talking about...
what we're also trying to do is make our health and medical experts available to ensure people understand, and I'll reiterate it here today, it's not just a vaccine, as obviously an incredible medical breakthrough, and we want every American to have one. But even after you're vaccinated, social distancing, wearing masks are going to be essential, and we'll need to continue communicating about that through health and medical experts.
Can we just bring up the fact that you hear what she's saying here? She's saying that even after you get the vaccine, even after you get that, masks are going to be essential. a life sentence. This is something that they're wanting to implement for the rest of their life. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact, obviously, the further they can kick this virus down the road, the more they can implement the social programs and the cultural stuff that they want to. But
and the mail-in voting and all of that.
Yeah, and there's no way people are going to keep wearing masks. And this is what we started touching on before we started glitching last week. But there's no way. What would be the point of getting a vaccine? You have no way of knowing the long-term effects of the vaccine. You're only going to have to be chasing these boosters after you get the vaccine. The only reason people are getting it, one of two reasons. A, either you want to protect loved ones, your elderly people that you're around, you don't want them to get it. And bingo, you want to get back to some semblance of normalcy, which obviously, if she's telling you you're going to have to keep wearing a mask, why are you going to get it? The younger generation is not even, I mean, when I say younger, 0 to 40, isn't going to care about it. And so the boosters are going to keep chasing the next mutation. And I
have a comment about that.
Sure.
For her, I suggest she does wear a mask the rest of her life. The bitch is ugly. So go ahead.
That was horrible. See, we're trying to keep it. So a couple.
Sorry.
So I just want to touch on, just for a second, I want to touch on something about these mutations, okay? Because you got the United Kingdom one, you got South Africa, you got the one in Brazil. I just want everybody to remember something about this. Let me see if I can pull up that picture. Just a quick little thing here. So here's the main thing to remember about these mutations. And I know this is a horrible picture. I didn't draw this picture, but take a look at the red, whatever you want to call it. This is actually what is the vaccine targeting. This is where the receptor binding domain is. This is what everybody's trying to keep the virus from getting to. And here's the problem. You heard about AstraZeneca and the fact that they halted the trials or they halted the vaccinations in South Africa because this strain, this 501Y-U2, okay, has had 9 changes in the spike protein. And the problem is the vaccines are not identifying it. Now, Moderna and Pfizer are still, the jury's out as far as how effective they're going to be, but AstraZeneca fell on its face. But just keep this in mind when they talk about these mutations, because I saw something that was in the, hold on, let me get back to us here. So I saw something that was in the, one of the Newsweek articles, and it talked about the mutation. Keep this in mind. When they talk about a deadly mutation, because this was a very misleading article that Newsweek had on it, they're not talking about deadly for us. They're talking about deadly for the virus. There's 2 types of mutation. It's either going to be deadly or it's going to be beneficial. And the deadly one is going to be the one where the virus gets weaker and it's not able to get in there. This one was beneficial to it. There's changes to it that allow it to bind more easy with that receptor binding domain. And is you got this thing called a polymerase, and it starts, this is the other thing I want to cover real quick. The mutations that happen are not because the virus is necessarily becoming evolved. It doesn't learn. It's not like searching out its prey and it's becoming stronger. The polymerase that actually replicate this virus inside the cell, it's just a total misfire. It is just a luck of chance that this thing mutates into whatever it mutates into. And the virus has no benefit in becoming more deadly to us because of the fact that it needs a host, and it needs a host to live, and it needs a host to propagate itself.
Obviously, this to me always sounded like made up in some lab. I mean, I don't think this is just random, but whatever. Go ahead.
Well, irregardless, now that the virus is out there, it's going to do what a virus does. Okay. So anyway, the other thing I want people to keep in mind when
big words, Rich. I know. I've told Rich don't use words I can't spell, like cat. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. See, this is why I'm not even going to talk about this anymore.
Della Pearl said, "Whoa, big words, Rich." Good to see Della, by the way. I think she just joined Gitmo.
Hey, Della, I had 5 days to practice these words, and trust me, polymerase is not a word that rolls off the tongue very easily.
I thought you said polymozzarella. That's what I noticed. String cheese.
String cheese.
Go ahead.
So anyway,
all right, carry on.
For those of you who are thinking about getting a vaccine, I just want you to keep in mind one thing, that there is the one thing that can adversely affect you if you get the vaccine. And I'm not saying for, against. Everybody's got their comfort level. Everybody's got that point where they want to be at with this. But I will say this: ADE, which is the antibody dependent enhancement. What happens there is that there's two things that are going to form when you get the vaccine. One is going to be neutralizing, antibodies, and the other one are going to be binding antibodies. If you pretty much produce nothing but the binding antibodies, then it actually becomes a playground for these spike proteins to bind, and it's going to enter the cell more easily. What you're hoping to develop is the neutralizing antibodies that will keep it from actually getting into the cell. So just know that there are times when this ADE, this antibody dependent enhancement, actually takes place. The respiratory, that RSV virus was one example. The measles, the early vaccines of the measles were another example where it existed. And the dengue back in 2016 was another example. So anytime you have, and these are because of the type of virus that it is, the fact it's this type of coronavirus. So anyway, just a couple of things to think about it. But when they tell you deadly, I looked at this Newsweek story and I thought, man, the guy doesn't actually know that when they say deadly as far as mutation, they're talking about deadly, mutations are not good for the virus.
Well, they have an agenda, bro. That's
exactly. Or they just saw it in print, knew what it was, and still let it fly, clipped it out, and said, "Yeah, this is what it is."
Exactly. So real quick, I do see Zoom, stuttering a couple of times, which not bad. It's only doing the Max Hedron thing, and then all of a sudden you'll talk real fast. It's not doing like anything like it was doing back in when we tried to do the show last time. So keep rolling, bro. Keep rolling.
Okay. Well, that's
hey, everybody, please share this out. Share this out. We're on Periscope, YouTube. If you're watching on Periscope, please go over to Vantage Point
again. But keep talking there, and also tell them where we're at on Gitmo.life too.
Oh yeah. So if you guys haven't heard about Gitmo.life, I know the name is kind of weird to some people, but I think Manny DeFango and Glenn from New York City Guns, they are the owners of it. They named it that because anybody that didn't vote for Biden now is pretty much a terrorist or a white supremacist in their mind. So we're like, hey, what better name than Gitmo? I think Manny had said it's also like Get More Life. I don't know, something like that. But Gitmo.life is where we're all at. It's growing. It's a startup company. I can't say that enough. It's a startup. So actually on Saturday, they're going to be shutting it down and switching servers so they can take on more people. They do have live streaming on Gitmo.tv, but you can't comment yet. So these are all, I don't want to say beta. I hate that word. So this is all in the test phase, but it's a great place. You see a lot of patriots over there. We're having a good time over there. So check it out, Gitmo.life.
Yeah, and I'm, what am I, 1,600 Reasons, and
yes.
I don't know if it's 1,600 Reasons Why or 1,600 Reasons, but anyway.
1,600 Reasons Why.
And then
you did tell me to say that.
Huh?
You did tell me to say how to find us, but yeah,
yes.
You have to search Realm of the Republic, which is myself, and then Rich, 1,600 Reasons Why, and together, Vantage Point USA, which is where we are now. What's going on? Mike Smith in the house.
Yeah, so Mike, while you're here, let's take a look at this piece of trash. Okay, I don't know if anybody knows this or knows her. Mom lost her job, okay, which I called out when this thing first happened. This is Helena Duke. This is the one who rolled on her family members, her uncle Richard, her aunt, all that stuff, her mom, and yeah, crazy stuff. This is, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but I love the statement she made. She says, I think it kind of makes me feel better knowing other people have gone through the same thing. I obviously feel very sad that they have to go through it too, but that I'm not alone and that they're not alone. I don't even know what the crap she means by this. It was stupid for her to say. But anyway, this is their lesbian daughter, who apparently is estranged from the family because of her views. Talked about, hey, Mom, remember you told me not to go to the Black Lives Matter thing because it might get violent. And then she posts this, and to destroy your family. And we're going to cover this here a little bit later on, but we talked about the fact that, and we covered this in the videos, and for those of you who've seen it before, the fact that we follow a lot of the campus reform stuff, and the fact, and I always say, you are spending $40,000 a year to have colleges teach your kids how to hate you. That's basically what you're doing.
Of course.
And
indoctrination. We speak of it a lot of times. I'm just checking Periscope. They're saying we're losing the feed and all that, but keep going.
Periscope maybe, but I'm checking OBS. It doesn't look like it's dropped out since I cleared out the thing. So if it is, I don't know. Whatever. It's. No, I mean, not. I take that back. Not whatever. It deeply disturbs me if we are. Right. I just don't know. I'm not going to be able to correct it on the fly.
No, we're rocking. We're rocking.
Okay.
I see it.
So as you guys can chime in. So, but and she's not the only one too. You got this winner right here. This is Robin. This is Robin Sweet. So this is the one that she's wearing her Black Lives Matter T-shirt and her mask that says "I can't breathe," and so she talks about her dad's been involved. He was radicalized, conspiracy underground websites and all this stuff. She said her and her father are completely opposed. No kidding. And whatever the consequences for their familiar relationships, the U.S. media has encouraged friends and relatives of rioters to inform them to police. CNN has boosted calls for information from the FBI while simultaneously describing the social ostracism. I'm going to tell you something. This is the point I'm trying to make with these people. By the media calling for them, and for the FBI to call out, hey, report your parents, report, and for the media to make these calls for this. They're just trying to ingrain to these people. It's okay to out your parents. Could you imagine back in our generation when we were young, what would have happened to us? Not just by our parents, but by our friends and everybody else. If we outed our parents on something they did short of murder, you know what I'm saying? Right. It would have to be some crime. It'd have to be pedophilia or something like that. But short of anything like that, for some crap like this. But you know what? Back then, parents taught you, and you had the same mindset. Now you don't, because
that's how cults work. The first thing they try to do is separate you from your family and your loved ones. Then once they do, they got you. They're like, don't get away from them people. They're racist. They're evil. Turn them in. Speaking of this piece of garbage, whoever she is, you have de Blasio's daughter too. She's another winner.
Oh yeah,
she's a garbage.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, but that's okay because, BLM's been submitted for that Nobel Prize. That guy, Peter Eide, whatever his name is, in Norway, has nominated BLM for the annual prize. What? Weren't they just in Washington burning up some stuff, getting in fights with the police? And you know what? The Republicans in Congress have raised concerns that these gates and fences that are up in D.C. are now going to become a permanent fixture in D.C., that they don't want it to become a fortress. Man, I tell you what, I think that maybe someone sent BLM to go ahead and stir up this around the Capitol so that they exactly keep those fences up, so that D.C. becomes a fortress. And it can become the base of power for the socialist regime. They're
still rioting in Portland and all of that too.
Right.
So it's the same, but it's not like it was when it was funded by the Democrats and they were applauding it. And, I think it's funny now they're having a, impeachment because President Trump supposedly incited stuff. I mean, for a year, we covered this 3 months straight also every night of them applauding. Oh, these are the voices of the unheard. And then you find out they're actually funding it. In my opinion, through riot ribs, et cetera, money laundering. Yep. And, and now, Maxine Ward is getting their face and, all of them inciting it and applauding it. But President Trump, saying, go walk down to the Capitol, oh, my God, we need to lock him up and make sure he never runs again. I mean, I haven't watched 1 minute of the sham impeachment. Not 1 minute. I
tell you, in the short amount of time that I watched it, I'm going to tell you what my takeaway from it was. Because, you got the guy showing, they're taking, obviously, choice clips that they want, pulling out bits and pieces, of course. And, they're pulling up Trump when he's talking about, you got to fight, you can't give up. You got to be strong. You can't show weak. Not only every politician, but my first thought was, you know what? Every football coach in the ACC has gone into the damn locker room and has said to his team, you cannot give up. Go out there and beat the crap out of them. You got to fight. You can't be weak. You can't. And he didn't mean to go out there and stick a knife in him. He meant go out there and fight the fight for the cause that they were doing, which was football. For this, it was stop the steal. It was to try to get the election back. It was trying to reclaim freedom for Americans. That's what it was for. But to hear them try to play it like they do, and if I was the attorney for Trump, I would get together exactly football and coaches given those talks and play those and say, geez, were they calling for violence too? No, they were trying to rally the people around the cause that was, put forth in front of them. So he didn't tell them to go down there. He said, march peacefully. Anyway, so yeah.
Exactly. And you know what, bro? Like I said, I put out a post a couple of times. I said, I'm not going to spend the next 3 years complaining about, oh, we're censored, or, oh my God, look what they did. Look what they're doing to Trump. That shit is over. It is time to take action. We have to get patriots voted in locally. We cannot spend another 3 years crying about they stole the election or we're being censored. It's a waste of time. I don't want to hear it. Let's start getting local people elected. Back your, call these politicians. The Republican Party is just dead. It's just over. I see no difference except policies between Republicans and Democrats. Now, not all of them, obviously, but we need to really clean the swamp out, bro. It's bad.
Well, and we talked about the Time article, okay? And I just want to read. This is just the first paragraph of the Time article for anybody who hasn't seen it, and I'm sure probably most of the people that are watching this have seen it, but I just want to read this. Their work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws and help secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding.
Stop right there. How many times did I say that Zuckerberg is taking the money that everybody on Facebook and Dorsey and all of them and using it to, to manipulate? So everybody that's on, there,
Yep.
I actually am on there and I need to just get off there. Once I have a platform like Gitmo or something, then I will be pulling the plug. Every time you log on there and click something, you're making them money to use against us. Go ahead.
They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. And wow, didn't we see the effect of that? When you couldn't get into the polls, when you couldn't see what was happening, and you had a heavily weighted distribution of minorities in there that you knew hated Trump and would be out to do whatever they needed to. They successfully pressured social media companies to take a harder line against disinformation and use data-driven strategies to fight viral smears. They executed national public awareness campaigns that helped America understand how vote count would unfold over days and weeks, preventing Trump's conspiracy theories and false claims of victory from getting more traction. Those conspiracy theories, by the way, were the ones talking about that the fact that you're letting it go over days and weeks were going to lend itself to being fraudulent and manipulated. Obviously, they were. Let's see. After Election Day, they monitored every pressure point to ensure that Trump could not overturn the results. And the only other thing that I found like staggering this, an assortment of foundations contributed tens of millions. Okay. Obviously, we knew that. Election administration funding. The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative chipped in. I like the word chipped in.
Yeah.
I chip in $5, like if I'm out somewhere with some people.
Yeah,
all
or
right.
like, hey, I'll give you $10 if we're getting pizza.
Yeah, chipped in 300 million. Okay.
Oh, that's chipped in. Yeah.
Zuckerberg invited 9 civil rights leaders to dinner at his home, where they warned him about the danger of election-related falsehoods that were already spreading unchecked. You don't invite people to dinner to warn you. These are people you have like mind and have aligned yourself with. He wasn't being educated on this. Man, they created a force of election defenders who, unlike traditional poll watchers, were trained in de-escalation techniques during early voting and on Election Day. They surrounded lines of voters in urban areas with a joy to the polls effort that turned the act of casting a ballot into street parties. Yeah. And we know about that too. So Time Magazine, for all that they're
what's the name of that article? Defending Democracy or something?
Yeah, exactly. Defaming democracy is what it should be called, because that's...
Listen, you know what that was, bro? That was everything we've been saying that was happening, and them saying, we're going to write an article, because what are you going to do about it? We're right up you know what? What are you going to do?
And it was the worst job of trying to spin something I think I've ever seen, because they proved and we know that there's 4 things they have to get rid of to usher in their socialistic programs, their progressive programs. They have to get rid of the independence of the individual. Okay. They have to get rid of that individual thought. They have to get rid of the family unit where that cohesiveness and they're doing that in the universities. That crap's getting wiped out. You have to get rid of the patriotism, which they're trying to do by dividing people and make them feel like they're ostracized and make them feel like
trying to say America
they're fringe.
Stole their land and it's by racist slave owners.
Exactly, as if they're radical, and they have to get rid of religion, which obviously COVID is really helping them to do. And my heart cries for all the small churches that are out in the communities that were really suffering from a down, because of the universities pulling kids away from their families anyway. And you go there and you go to the nurseries and you don't see the kids in the nurseries, and you see right, that, bro. and you see that the churches were on the ropes. They were dying anyway, and then COVID comes and gives them the knockout blow because they couldn't survive with months of no revenue. They couldn't. No. They had to get preachers to volunteer to come to a lot of these small churches out in the country just to preach sermons because they weren't able to pay them. So they little by little
declare them non-essential, but a liquor store is essential and all this other crap is essential, but churches are not.
Yeah, 22,000 at the Super Bowl is essential, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yes. So just, that's just part of the step. And then now they're just going to spend us into oblivion. You can't stop socialism now. I really don't. And I saw it coming and I knew it was eventually going to happen because I've always said, we're only solvent as long, just like a credit card. Your credit card company will allow you to have a credit card just as long as you can pay the interest on the debt. Once you can't pay the interest on the debt anymore, they have no use for you and they're going to cut it off. We are 10 trillion now in the past year, whatever it is. We are heading down that road. And with the spending that they're going to instill, you can only tax so much. The next thing is going to be inflation. And once inflation, and trust me, inflation is coming, you better have silver, you better have gold, you better have investments in some of the emerging markets, because the only people that are really going to have...
Before you have any of that, you better have your faith strong and you better have food and water, because that money ain't going to mean shit when you're starving to death.
Yep, beans, bullets, and bandits.
All that.
That's right.
So, and you better have something to defend it.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah, and you're right, Della. I'd never thought it would happen this fast, but COVID just really... Man,
it really didn't happen fast. It's been drip, drip, drip. Now, yes, it escalated, but this has been going on for quite some time. But then they just use COVID like, oh, man, we're going to turn up the heat now. And you think they're ever going to give that power back? Ever? Hell no, they ain't going to give that power back.
I totally agree with you. I think from a cultural standpoint, it has been drip, drip, drip. I think since the 70s, when the postmodernist movement came here from France and Derrida and all those people who settled on the West Coast and settled in Berkeley and started the postmodernist movement. Culturally, I think it has been drip, drip, drip. I think financially, though, I think it's going to be an avalanche, and I think it's going to get ugly really quick. And once you spend this country out of existence, then yes, you collect everything from everybody and you divvy out as you think they deserve it or need it, and bam, then you got everybody's on the public dole, and you can't go anywhere from there. So
I have faith in the people, not in the government or the courts or in our federal agency. I have the faith in the people that freedom will always rise. You're only going to push people so far before they've had enough. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not inciting anything. I'm just saying I have faith in the people and 15 million guns or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you know what? And you're exactly right. There's no socialist government that's ever been overturned peacefully. Absolutely. And we're not saying now, not making a call for it, but eventually, people will have enough. It may be years down the road, but eventually people will have enough and they'll realize that, anyway. So right. But that's okay. The Great Reset is coming, and we'll see how that works too. So
I really haven't looked into the whole Great Reset. That's something to do with financially and all that crap, right?
I
haven't spent much time looking at it.
Yeah, and we'll like I said, we were saying we were going to
do a whole show. Let's next time we go live, let's do just a show on that, because I want to learn about it too. I have no idea what it is. I see people talk about it, but I really like to learn, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? All you got to do is look one place right here, Davos. This is where is where it all happens, right here. But yeah, we'll what we'll do is I'll try to put something together for that. You know, it's not really, unfortunately, it's not that complicated what the goal is. But I tell you what, China does lead the charge. So, and every day that you hear more and more about China, because don't forget, we went from the greatest creditor to the greatest debtor, and China's owning most of that debt. You know, so you talk about the Silk Road and those things that are coming down the pike. Biden will do nothing to stand in the way of China. You know, he won't do anything to stand in the way of anything. Look at the Biden. Here's one for you. So here's the thing. So Iran, U.S. must lift sanctions before it lives up to the nuclear deal. So and it's so transparent that Biden's trying to act like he's playing a hard role on this. Oh, they have to. They have to stop their enrichment program. You can neither prove that nor can you secure it. Yeah. And ultimately, it's a bunch of crap. Just stay out of the deal. The best policy we have, and I'm sorry, I'm like on a rant today. I'll let you have more time here in a second because I'm just like.
No, you're fine. Oh, but Medusa, also known as the Kraken, she's saying look at her timeline on Gitmo.life. She covers the Great Reset a lot.
Does she? And who is that?
Yeah, she's from New Zealand, man.
Medusa.
She has an awesome accent. She's a cool chick.
Yeah, I'll go back there and check that out. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I love hearing information from all sides of it. Absolutely.
Well, a lot of people give her hell real quick. So she'll go on this guy, J-Bomb Scope and a couple of scopes, and then they'll go, oh, what do you care? Stay out of our business. This is America. You're not even from here. And she's like, no, you idiot. I'm here to tell you exactly what's going to happen to your country because I'm in New Zealand and it happened here. I'm trying to warn you, you fool. If you just listen to me,
let me just write that thing so I remember where my thought was there. You know what? I will get. You say she's from New Zealand?
Yeah.
New Zealand is the quintessential proof that an isolationist policy is very beneficial to a lot of countries. New Zealand's an awesome country. Matter of fact, if it wasn't as cold as it is, I'd probably move there. But yeah, they've had so much success in a lot of things. But
the government is taking their rights away quicker than you can blink.
There's that. And
no, you got to talk to her. She's there, bro.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, as far as, no, I'm not talking about the system of government and the fact of how socialist they are. I'm talking about the fact it's just a beautiful place. The people are beautiful, all that stuff. New Zealand is a great place. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, as far as how their response, New Zealand didn't let anybody come into the country when COVID, and as I understand it, when I'm talking about isolation, they didn't have any COVID really blow up in New Zealand. If I'm wrong, I hope she shouts back, but an isolationist policy for them served them well during COVID. But what I was saying with Iran, the best policy we have on Iran is to kill their economy. They are suffering so bad because of sanctions that we now have in place, thanks to President Trump, that just crush them. By getting out of that deal, you killed their banking, you killed their trade, you killed their oil. Those people have nothing compared to what they have. You want to keep their nuclear program down. It's the best way to do it. Anyway,
Somebody's saying a hearing of an explosion in D.C. Anyone? No, I don't know what's going on with that.
It's going to be BLM. It's going to be BLM.
Could be just Rosie O'Donnell farted.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I tell you what it was. I tell you what was sick that I heard. It was that Ashley Babbitt, I think was her name. Let me see here. Yeah, so this poor girl here. This is the one that was through the window and got shot. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And somebody actually had the nerve to go ahead and put an article out that talked about the fact that she was receiving Paycheck Protection Program loans for her business. Okay. And that she wasn't the only one that did it. And that why was she there when she's taking the money from the taxpayer? You know what? If we're going to say that, all them bastards at BLM that are rioting, do we want to talk about the percentage of them that are on that are on the public payroll and not just for
hypocrisy's out of control?
Yeah, man. And not not for one check. We're talking about on a monthly basis for years and years. And you want to pinpoint this woman? What's she? Come on. Yeah. So anyway, I found that funny too.
Yeah. So what do we got next, man? What do we got?
Nothing.
Freeze? Oh,
Nothing.
I thought you froze.
No, I got nothing. What do you got? I can't talk anymore. I've dominated the conversation. It is all you now. You bring.
All right, it's all me. All right. Good night, everybody. No, so I did not watch the Super Bowl. I mean, I did watch some of it, but the halftime show. Oh my God. Why would you put like 1,000 people with jock straps on their face? That's what I literally looked at it. And I was like, are they kidding me? What, why are these people running around with jock straps? I mean, I could see a mask with, rhinestones or whatever. Jock straps, the whole thing was weird. And the whole satanic beginning of them coming down with the red glowing eyes. Oh man, bro, we're so screwed as a country if we just keep allowing this crap. But the media wants you to think that they're the majority. We talk about this all the time. They're not, but they control the media, so it looks like that. There are millions of patriots that have had enough, that are praying every day. Like I said, forget complaining about, oh my God, they stole the election. Oh my God, this impeachment. Oh, I got censored on Twitter. Forget that. We did that for 3 years. It's a waste of time. You can continue to do it. I'm not right. You, but other people.
Right.
We need to get people voted in locally, and we need to just get, everybody's talking about, oh, you think Trump will run in 2024? Do you think Ted Cruz? It don't matter who's going to run if you don't fix the election. Amen. My God, he don't have more support than he had, in 2020, and he lost, which he didn't lose. We know. Right. But if we don't fix that crap, it don't matter who runs. So we need to get people voted in locally, and, stop crying about all the shit that we cried about for 3 years. It ain't going to do a damn thing. Make sure you strengthen your faith, strengthen your supplies. Like Rich said, gold, silver, like I said, food, water, have some cash if you can on the side in case there's a run on the bank and you can't get money out of the ATM. And be ready, man. Be ready. That's all I'm telling you.
Yeah, and Marjorie Greene, now people are trying to paint her as radical Q thing, and she's already covered the Q thing. She said, "Listen, she's like, I got into it when I was first when Trump was just getting inundated with the whole prosecution of the Russian stuff, but then after a while I listened to him, it didn't really make sense. I started getting out of it, but of course they're harping on the fact that that's what she had back in the day." Those are the people, and I even said this to you when we were talking before. I said, if a regular conservative Republican can only get me 25% of what I want in Washington, even when they have a majority, can only get me 25%, I'll take a lady who is 190% conservative, okay? Because maybe she can get me 75% of what I want when she gets. So I don't, her views and stuff do not bother me. When she had the press conference after
how's she voting and what's she getting done?
Exactly. And when she got stripped of her committees and she came out there and she did an interview, she purported herself very well in front of the media. And she even said to them, hey, you talk about me apologizing for my stuff in the past. She was like, who you with? Oh, CNN. She's like, have you ever apologized for the Russian collusion, the stuff that you reported on during it? Have you come out and said, hey, I'm sorry, we were wrong. We were this.
No, they won't. And how many of them still have their pages? How many still pushing that fake crap?
Yep.
And they still have their. I mean, this is the whole point. Like, we already know these things, and obviously Chuck is saying guns and ammo, of course, legally purchased. Check your state laws, of course. I'm always going to say that whenever we talk about guns, but absolutely, it's no sense to get anything else if you can't protect it, right? And somebody else said stuff Q. Whatever. Q's real, Q's fake. I could give a shit at this point. I am moving forward. We are moving forward. Get your faith right. Get your supplies right. Get people voted in locally. I got no time to fight and cry about the past. It's only moving forward. That's my last and final statement.
No, it's not. We're talking some more. I am going to say this. I'm going
to you're right. Cheers.
I'm going to throw this video up real quick. This is a thing that I made. This is AOC's explanation of what happened at the Capitol. I'm sure everybody saw it, but this is a different take on it. Okay.
Lord, he's desperate. Do what he say. Do what he say. Oh, help me. so talented, and they are so dumb.
And this is what they think of us. That is exactly what they think of this. You know, we did this for Smollett, but I figured I'd break it back out and put it up on Gitmo.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Put it back up on Gitmo for AOC, because it's the same crap, you know? Oh, they were shouting, where is she? Yeah, it was a cop and you knew it. So what are you trying to do? So, yeah.
Man. It's Acosta Smollett, whatever her name is. So, yeah, that always reminded me of the thing I always bring up. If a guy that's got, you know, split personalities is holding a gun to his head, is it a hostage situation, or is it a attempted suicide? Right?
Yeah.
Not laughing at mental illness, but it always puzzled me. Like, how do you handle that if you know the guy's got split personalities? He's like, stand back or the nut gets it. You know, you're like, oh, come on, he loves you, man. He does not. So, kind of trying not to make fun of it, but it always just puzzled me. Anyway, that's it, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Check out all the platforms we're on: YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Periscope for now. But if you are watching on Periscope, go over to YouTube. And Gitmo.life is where we're doing a lot of our Twitter stuff. And F Jack Dorsey and F Zuckerberg and F Google and F all of them. Sorry.
Yes. And so here we go, guys. We appreciate it. You could have been anywhere tonight, but you chose to be with us. We don't take it for granted. We truly appreciate it. We hope you'll catch us next week, and we hope we'll actually be here next week. We try. Yeah. We really do, but yeah, life is busy. So I'm going to try this outro. We'll see if it works. And we'll check you later. God bless.